What's up, BookTube? It is Mia, and thank you for tuning in to watch Select Pages. It is currently Vlogmas Day 17, and I'm going to come at you guys today with a book review. So if you're interested in what I have to say, stay tuned. So today we are going to be reviewing a very special book from a very special person right here in our own BookTube community, and that is going to be Beds Are for Flowers by R.K. Gold. And if you don't know who R.K. Gold is by now, you must be living under a rock somewhere. He is one of, if not the biggest supporters in the BookTube community right now. I cannot say enough nice things about him. I love him dearly, and I reached out to him because I read his book and I was like, would you mind if I did a review on it? And he was like thrilled. He was like, absolutely. So RK, thank you for allowing me to do this. And if you guys want to know what I have to say about the book, let's get into it. So I'm going to start off this review basically by breaking it down into three main categories, which a lot of us reviewers do anyway. So I'm going to talk about the overall plot, characters, and the world building. And just to kick things off, we're going to go ahead and go on with the overall plot and what the book is about. So basically, this book is about a kid named Clarence and his sister, Jesse, and his best friend, Wakoba. And they are trying to help their father go through something called a journey through the end. And now, what is the end, you're asking? The end is something that people have to go through in order to get through the afterlife, which is very strange because before, people didn't have to go through the end. They live in a world where instead of people like pretty much just like dying, I think like death is conquered. So instead of just like dying and you passing on, you have to go through this journey through a tree into a place called Gadian, which is pretty much the afterlife. Now, before such events happened, you pretty much just went through the tree. That was it. You had a reaper who escorted you over, and that was pretty much it. Plain and simple, right? But apparently a novel wouldn't be that good if that was just the case, right? Something happened where another reaper pretty much saw human beings as selfish and just not embracing life anymore, and was just trying to rush into the afterlife, decided to block the tree and not let mortals come through there anymore. With that happening, now mortals have to go through something called the end, which is basically a journey through like this really dark and crazy forest with like really scary creatures, and there's no guarantee that you'll even make it to the other side. So Clarence is very scared for his father to go through this journey. He's already a very sickly man. It is definitely time for him to move on, but Clarence is afraid that he may not even make the trip. That's basically the synopsis in a nutshell. So basically, Clarence and his sister and best friend wants to restore the balance and make sure that his father gets to Gadian, and where he can have, you know, his reward, his everlasting rest and peace, so however it is that you want to put it. First and foremost, I love the concept of this story. It's not a story about someone wanting to stop death from happening, but basically more about them wanting to make it easier for them to pass on into the afterlife, which is definitely a very good spin on things. Like, we always see people trying to save people trying to get the elixir of life, or if you conquer all of this, then your family will survive, versus just, they know it's time, that he's been sick for a while, his father's been sick for a while, and you know, it's just like I said, they just want to make it as helpful for him as possible. They even have things where they go through, like, you can kind of like barter for like extra time on your life, and the Reaper is going to show up every other day. And speaking of Reapers, let's just jump into characters. So our main character is Clarence. Like I said, he is the son of the father who is sick, and he basically is a very strong character to me. He clearly knows what he wants, even though he may not understand how to get it yet. He knows that this is not right. I want my father to pass on gracefully and without any worries. So he's going to set out and do what he wants to do, or try to do the best way that he can. He also tags along his best friend, Wakoba. I think I'm saying that right, Wakoba. And Wakoba's a big scaredy cat, but he has like a heart of gold. And together they're trying to battle the insecurities of life and where they're living at and the world that there is. And did I mention that the world is colorless, which we'll get into in the world building? but they just meshed so well together. I love their relationship. They really balanced each other out, whereas Clarence was more braver and more ready to jump into action with a lot of things, where Kobo was more timid and scared, but because his best friend was involved, he's down. So I love that kind of dynamic in a relationship. And then we have Jessie, which is Clarence's sister, who I really couldn't really get a read on. She was a little hot-tempered, but then again, her father is dying, so I kind of get that gist, but we really don't know much about her besides the fact of, like, she's, like, ready to jump into action, too. She's very short-tempered and also quick to jump in to do things without thinking about it beforehand, which is good quality sometimes for a character to have it. That's how you intend them to be, but at the same time, I don't know. It just kind of, like, it gets old, I guess. I don't know. You also have a neighbor, which is definitely a main character, and I cannot get into too much information about him because, hello, spoilers, which I really love the mysteriousness of the neighbor, and I can't remember if we ever get to know what the neighbor name is, but he's very mysterious and cool at the same time. He kind of reminded me a lot of, like, that character who's like the mentor who doesn't want to be a mentor, but he's kind of there still giving you advice even though he really doesn't want to. I love those type of characters. And then we have the Reaper itself. Sorry, we have two Reapers. We have the Reaper who's blocking the tree, which we really don't know much about besides the fact that, like I said, he's blocking the tree because he thinks that humankind just doesn't deserve it no more. And then you have the Red Reaper, which is going with the kids on this journey to help their father go through the end, to make sure that their father goes through the end safely. Those are your main characters there, and I know this is, like, all over the place, but you guys, if you read the book, it all makes sense. Now we're just gonna jump into the world building real quick, and like I said, they just kind of live in, like, this colorless drab world, and if they don't restore balance, it's like they're gonna fade away. If you ever seen in the movie Pleasantville with Tobey Maguire and what's her face, I think Reese Witherspoon, it's kind of like that but reverse, whereas those two entered into Pleasantville, and the more things that they did and the more that people opened up, color started coming into the world. This one here is the complete opposite. Because the balance is off, color is being drained from this world. People are just like these drab, like, husks, like shells, and it's just like they're trying to survive. Not to mention that there is crazy ass critters just running around there wreaking havoc because, like I said, the balance is off. Whereas they would be in their own separate realms, they are slowly slipping into the mortal realm, and that is not a good thing. Final thoughts. I gave this book a 3.5 stars. Now I'm gonna explain why. Only because it wasn't long enough. I love this world. I really enjoyed the characters, but we didn't really get to know the characters. We didn't get to see them grow and develop. And that's what I really, really, really wanted from the book. I think the world is there. I think the world is great. Like, I can picture it, I can see it, and I would really like to see it expand more. But the characters, it just, like, everything just kind of happened way too fast. Now, I did speak with RK, and he did say that he is expanding this series. It's going to be 3 to 5 books, and maybe even a prequel about one of the Reapers, which I am super excited for. So you need to get to write, RK. So with that being in mind, I'm hoping that the world can just expand a little bit more on that end. This book was only like about 140 pages or so, and it was like a very quick read. I literally sat down and just read right through it, but I was engaged the whole time. So yeah. But other than that, like I said, I really, really enjoyed the book, and I hope you guys go out and buy it, read, and support. I'm going to leave all the information down below, and you guys give it a read. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. Like I said, I'm not going to get into spoilers, and I hope I didn't spoil anything in this review, only because I can't say it enough. I want you guys to read it. It's awesome. So with that being said, I gotta wrap this up. For those of you who stuck around to the end, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, loves.